My fellow Ambazonians and friends of Ambazonians. Una good evening for all una, for all our people them for ground zero. Una good evening for all una. I be una brother Asu, when the press secretary for the executive office for governing council of Ambazonia. I say my people then una welcome all. Today I get news. I get news for one can broken for all una, and I not fit wait for deliver this news for una before una go for sleep, especially what people them for ground zero. All right. So I know say una not be they expect me. I know say I not be put any information for outside. For inform una say I will be live today. So I know say that's until it be unexpected. That's until I not be planner. But the information be too important. One of you live and make this day pass. One not can deliver una this message. So when I share them, when I invite other people them, may they participate. Even the people them for ACN will not be program them so that the feed also stream them directly for ground zero because time not be there. I just send a very quick message, very important message where one can deliver them for una. So when I come well, when I come fine, when I feel share them for una various Facebook pages, when I feel also share them for una various WhatsApp group them when I day for day so that people they fit participate and we get this discussion and na very important information. So all many place there, una come well, una come fine. Make we start, we no go waste any time. I want to take the time for salute all our people them for ground zero. I want to salute all our people them, especially the prisoners. I want to salute the one where they stay for bush. I want also salute all our refugees, then the one for Nigeria, and all our people where they be scattered across the globe. Una come well, una come fine. For the people them for that side for Europe, una good evening for all una, for all my them and papa them for Europe, and brothers and sisters them for Europe. Una good evening for all una. For all our people them for that side for South, for Asia Pacific, for that side for Hong Kong, for China, for Singapore, for Malaysia, all that side, including for India, for China, for even for Pakistan, even Ambazonia. Yes, Ambazonia they did for that side for Afghanistan too. I don't talk for an Ambazonian. We there for Kabul, Afghanistan. When I hear Ambazonia they work as so they did for Afghani. They did for Afghanistan. I don't speak for what would one Ambazonia we there for that side for Kabul. So even the people them for Ambazonia them for that side for Afghanistan, as also throw una salute. For the one who they did for Pakistan, for Bangladesh, as also throw una salute. All right. Even the one who they did for Malaysia or for Singapore, as also salute una. All right. And then for this side for North America, for this side for the time zone, for this side for Toronto and for Washington DC area here at 3:45 for afternoon. So a good afternoon for all una. I know say most of una still dey work. And then only so morning time for some other side for Canada here. I think saying about 11 something for some other part for Canada here. Una good morning for that side. Make we start the story. My fellow Ambazonians, I don't come for can't tell when I say they say La République du Cameroun, it don't blink. Poor Biya don't bow to the mounting international pressure. The colonial dictator will be think say this and I be the King Kong of the world. He no go shake, no matter what the world talk, he no go shake. And if he commit the human rights crimes then, if he commit atrocities, if he commit genocide, if he burn villages them, burn people them alive, and he thinks say if he go free. Today one can tell when I say, poor Biya, enough he go free, and poor Biya, he don't blink, poor Biya, he don't bow to international pressure. But before we go for that, as all we already know, the Cameroon military strategy for the Ambazonian resistance, the option we poor Biya user, say one use now war for solve legitimate political demands from the Ambazonian people then. It choose the path of war. That path of war, the strategy of war we poor Biya choose am, the bad advice we receive am, that path of war when at the calculation and the thinking system of a dictator, the path of war don't fail disgracefully, it don't fail humiliatingly, it don't be an embarrassment for La République du Cameroun. Their military strategy don't fail. It don't be the biggest political blunder for poor Biya, a 40 years in power. It don't be the biggest political miscalculation for poor Biya after 40 years in power. Today, I want come for can tell all una say the colonial dictator of La République du Cameroon, a war effort they don't fail, the Ambazonian people they don't defeat it, his strategy don't fail, and as a result, now he not get no other choice than for succumb, than for it for bow to the mounting international pressure. So before we go for the, when I remember, after I know say they don't defeat it, when he know say not be fit for win the war, first, they start with some kind small thing them where they fit use them for placate the Ambazonian people them. That means say for try for convince we, for make we feel say they take major steps. Number one, they start with they say, oh, the war it be caused now by a language problem. So they create a commission of bilingualism and multiculturalism, which been a very mockery to the Ambazonian people, basically. All right, that one, it not even reach 30 days. That one collapsed. Then they come out, they say, oh, now disarmament. So they create a commission of disarmament. Now their prescription than that, now their solution than that. Why did they do all this one? They be the follow now the war strategy. The war strategy, it be their primary strategy. All these other ones, them, it be not just things and way they want to use them for full people. All right. So disarmament too, it can be a big disaster. People them like Nambere, Success, Kongo, Yannick Kawa, Yawa, or na Kawa Kwawa. I think na Yannick Kwawa or na Yannick Kawa Yawa. Whatever a name be, all those agents them, they can create the DDR center, and it can be the DDR center and the disarmament commission. It can be now a fraud place, a place where they do scamming, a place where they scam the Cameroon government. It become now a place where they use them now for do Cameroon, my country people, their propaganda. All right. So that one too, it can't come out. It can't it fail. Then they come out. They say, oh, now a grand national dialogue where be now just a discussion within the CPDM. That one too is also can chakara for their face. Now, Biya not get no other choice. But before I want to tell you what did it happen. I want to tell you why Biya don't blink. For can't tell you why poor Biya don't surrender to international pressure. Make una hear from one of poor Biya a top political advisors with themselves they be participate for the Grand National Dialogue. This person when I want to hear from me, now an authority within Cameroon, now a person where either within that system, now a person where it don't benefit from that system, but now a person now where they use them for offer the plan B. Make una hear what he talk, and then I give una this quick current update. It don't bad for inside La République du Cameroon. It don't bad for them. It don't bad for poor Biya. They can bring una this spy video. And this
dialogue because it failed to respect the principles of
But you
dialogue.
attended the major national dialogue.
Of course, that's why I'm able to tell you that it failed, and I was able to see that it was failing because while it was taking place, people were running away from reality and playing up to the gallery. So the damn thing failed. Of course, when I came out from there and I was saying that the thing had failed, they almost killed me. But today we are all agreed that the thing has failed. And if the president himself is saying that there's going to be a dialogue, it's a recognition of the fact that that major national dialogue failed. And you see, once we say that the major national dialogue has failed, and you know that one of the elements that contributed to that major national dialogue was also another failed organ called it's called what again? The
bilingualism and multiculturalism.
Voila. It's one big white empty hopeless elephant that went into the bedroom and crafted that thing, and with some other people who do not want to liberate Cameroon as such, they came up with the major national dialogue, and then I guess the president thought that these were genuine people and they were ready to solve the problem, but they were doing their thing as usual. Now, so the bilingualism commission is a failed thing. The major national dialogue is a failed thing.
Disarmament?
Well, no, don't mention disarmament. Let's mention the two. Those are the major structures. And you have disarmament, reconstruction, special status, decentralization.
Now it's accelerated.
Whatever, call it whatever, it's just politics and names. So you see this crowd of things that were born out of the major national dialogue, watch my lips, have failed. Failed in the sense that they might have a 10% success, but when you're talking about success, you talk of 80% success, not 10% success, not 20% success. So that is why we are having the problem that we are having. Our dialogue, watch my lips, have failed. Failed in the sense that they might have a 10% success.
So, which I want to make what people understand, since this war started and since the beginning of the coronavirus, Paul Biya, based on the defeat of the Ambazonian people them and the mounting international pressure, Paul Biya not be ever fit for travel. For the first time, Biya don't come out La République du Cameroun 2 days ago for go for Switzerland. And the reason this way one can talk for all our people them tonight, because we need for praise the resistance of the Ambazonian people them, the efforts of the Ambazonian people them, the efforts of the fighters, the efforts of Wamamido that they observe goes down, and all were picking the way that they take the effort for mount the resistance on the ground, and all what we do on for outside here for mount international pressure on the colonial state. Biya don't blinked. Finally, after almost 1 year and a half, the Cameroon dictator, he don't finally come out. They don't call him, make it come for Switzerland, because all the things and way he be one use them for manipulate and deceive the international community, say they address the problem, they don't fail. The international community, they don't tell you say enough is enough. They don't want to hear anything. They want to see concrete action and they want to see commitment. So when all the things and we don't offer them, including decentralization, when they don't fail, and the world, all man, including the experts for La République du Cameroun and the international system, they know say Biya don't lost the war. Biya now get for go save his face, and he get for go save Cameroon. So now Biya will not want listen for the international community. Now that he don't travel for meet up with international partners them, for see now say okay now the thing that this one I want offer them. But before I want go for the, I want make una understand something. Now in this for here. Now then this, we don't put them for this their newspaper. And this, see even though with the coronavirus, it don't finally commit, it don't finally come out for travel, for go for Europe. From the intelligence, who would get them? It not just travel for go for Europe, for go relax. Because during this period, there is no foolish person who go come out, go begin to relax. They need leave them. So Biya don't come out, now because the pressure, all his strategies, then, the things in way the state if want do for offer local remedies, now because they don't fail. And the international community, you know, want make this war continue for prolong, because they know say the more the war prolong, the more the Cameroon state it go lost total control, totally from Ambazonia, based on this defeat. And they know say the crimes where the Cameroon military and the gangs where the Cameroon government create them, the crimes that they will commit them, they go over plenty. So they mount massive pressure on the colonial state, for the colonial state for commit into a negotiation where they want to make it start soon. While Biya do that one, for inside La République du Cameroun, then they also try to do some other things them, where they try for present them for the international community. Say, look, we would take major steps for try for say we solve the problem and address which the people they ask for. When I remember, just late last year, La République du Cameroun for the first time, they make an amendment for their constitution for include the people of Ambazonia as citizens of La République of Cameroon. Since 1961, so till you can reach down, or since 1972, after the collapse of the federal state or the hijack of the federal structure, Cameroon, it be only be na Cameroon. The Ambazonian people them, they not be part of Cameroon. They never ever make them include them. As Biya lost the war, then they go make a provision for they make an amendment for their constitution. They finally define a citizen of Cameroon. For the article, for the new constitution, where they concern citizenship, they talk say any person where they be born new for the territory of former British Southern Cameroon, you be considered a Cameroonian. Now the first time that they did take any step for make AMBAZONIA, they made it feel like say they be part of the country. Now the first time that. And now because of the AMBAZONIan resistance, now he force all this pressure them for even go do those cosmetic things because they not be consult the AMBAZONIan people them. It be been a unilateral decision for them for impose Cameroon citizenship on the AMBAZONIan people them. So, and then they say any person. That means say any person where they born you for the former British Southern Cameroon territory, which they call and now say Northwest and Southwest, or your parents, the commode, you be a citizen of Cameroon. Then they can't talk say any person where they be born in for which they call and say East Cameroon. Where they call and now when are the other 8 regions. They born you for the, or your parents, your both parents come up for the, or one of your parents come up for the, you be considered as a citizen of Cameroon. Now, while the international pressure the mount on Biya, they also move in for their parliament for talk say okay, the parliament don't discuss and now they propose that this way their parliament it don't accept for put them as a solution where it go solve the problem for places then they call and say the Northwest and the Southwest for satisfy the AMBAZONIan people then. Now, I want to make you understand what it really go on. While all those things that they go on, Biya now they work on the plan B. Plan A don't fail. Plan A be na special status. Special status be na them for full the AMBAZONIan people. So don't give na something will be very different from all the other 8 regions them. And then with the effective decentralization, we na go get more power. But all those ones they be been a lie. So the plan A it already failed. Now they want to test the AMBAZONIan people them on plan B. While they pursue dialogue or negotiation, but they want to put na local remedies for see if the AMBAZONIan people them they go accept them. When I hear what they try for plan and for grounds for down there, so that make we understand the thinking and make all man start for prepare himself for what he come. Because he come. Make a bring another video and we go get a better understanding of what they go on the ground in terms of the plan B, where they try now for talk say okay, the plan A don't fail, make we now go now for the plan B this and it be na their last plan 9 this. Who said that video we will just put down for the system here. Make we bring una so that we understand the plan B where they try for introduce them 9 this.
About the anglophone problem, what do we really understand by an anglophone problem in Cameroon?
Well, let me first of all say that the anglophone problem is like the story of the elephant and the blind man. So each blind man touches a part on the elephant and calls it its own name. But I will tell you from my own perspective. The anglophone problem, as far as I'm concerned, is situated between 1961 to 1972. And what triggered what is called the anglophone problem was the violation of Article 47 of the Federal Constitution of 1961. The 1961 Federal Constitution had said that the federal states of West and East Cameroon would remain as they are, and there will be nothing to do to dismantle West Cameroon and East Cameroon. So that was the spirit and letter of Article 47 of the Federal Constitution. Amadu Ahijo, nonetheless, decided to contravene Article 47 and used Article 2 of 1961, which gave him the latitude to call for a referendum. Therefore, he used Article 2 on the referendum to supersede Article 47. So what we of the West Cameroon generation regard as an anglophone problem is the violation of Article 47, which dismantled the federal structure of West and East Cameroon. For me, the Anglophone problem has given rise to the problems of the Anglophone.
Okay. So there's a difference between the problems,
the Anglophone problem,
and
which have given rise to the problems of the Anglophones.
Okay.
The Anglophone problem, like I said, is situated within the 1961 Federal Constitution.
Yeah.
Because of the destruction of the federal structure, because of the destruction of the autonomy of West Cameroon under prime ministers and secretaries of state, because of that destruction, it led, therefore, for the Anglophone expression to be changed from a statehood to a minorityhood. That minorityhood means that it moved from a West Cameroon state to mere provinces. And these provinces have now become regions. And tomorrow, Mr. Biya might call them states. That does not solve the Anglophone problem. Therefore, what I regard as the problems of the Anglophone are what we find expressing themselves now. The level of education, where we say because of that Anglophone problem, that educational system has been suffocated, has become completely submerged. We see that in the legal system. And what I keep saying that even the people of the economic operators within the Anglophone sector have not yet spoken. Because when we look at what happened to Chico Airport, what happened to Limbe Deep Seaport, what happened to Marketing Board, these are all expressions where Anglophone economic operators are supposed to express themselves. Anglophone journalists are still teaming up to do something in terms of addressing the problems of the Anglophone. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the things that actually epitomizes the Anglophone media, protest media, is Cameroon Tribune. The fact that before 1974, there was an English version and a French version. And today what passes off for a bilingual Cameroon Tribune is actually a French Tribune with footnotes in English. That also happens in the Anglophone state media, where people give you the fact that, because there is 90% Anglophone viewership, therefore programs should actually be seen in that perspective. That is not true. But when you look at the Anglophones who came into the union as equal partners, there's no way you can see that you are going to make one channel that's going to be bilingual. We're supposed to have two separate channels, one that focuses on English and the other in French. And if there's a need for a third channel as a bilingual channel, that can be done. So the problems of the Anglophone, therefore, have been manifested in many areas, whether it's legal, whether it's education, whether it's socio-cultural, whether it's economics. And that is what we're trying to solve.
But this has been on for too long.
Wetin una dey watch now, na La République du Cameroon. Their first offer, where they offer the Ambazonian people, na special status and decentralization. It don't fail. Wetin una dey watch now, they move now to phase 2 for the next offer where they want offer them. Now the thing is I want make una start for understand. The first one don't phase 1 don't fail. Special status and decentralization. Ambazonia, they don't reject them. It don't fail. The local remedies we probably offer them, they don't fail. Now they move now for phase 2. Now their last option this for safe Cameroon. Wait till they try for do one. Not be enough for the interest of the Ambazonian people then. The only thing where they move now for phase 2, now because of the mounting international pressure, and Biya no one go for direct negotiation. So it go try now for use the Ambazonian elite, for use these people that they don't benefit from the system. Now they use them for try for go come now and can sell this phase 2. Now the phase 2 this we una the CM, una continue for listen for this uncle. He go explain them for una completely, and then una know exactly who are things that they go, and then we will come back and tell una what you they up.
Mr. Ngwane, why is it coming up now very powerful?
Now you see, it is like asking yourself why up to 1990 people were suffocating under dictatorship and decided to rise in 1990 and say no, we wanted multipartism. There is always a time for things to happen. It is also the same thing even when Arab Spring started in the 2000s. People were wondering, for such a long time, they had all been put into a box. How come that they were able now to rise, to agitate and to protest? The Anglophone problem has always been a Pandora box, always waiting for someone to open it. And what one has to appraise the Anglophones for is their peaceful approach to the Anglophone problem. Unlike other problems in other countries like Eritrea, when Eritrea wanted to opt out of the union with Ethiopia in 1993, it was through military option. When South Sudan wanted to opt out in 2015, it was through a military option. The fact that Anglophones have used the force of argument for the last 55 years is credit that has to be given to them. Now, but the way we find the insensitivity and the nonchalance from the other side might escalate people's sentiments into areas that might not augur well for the peace and unity that we all crave for. So why has the Anglophone problem come up now? It is something that you have to see with young people. Young people have taken up this challenge. First, we must give thanks to the fact that there is the flurry of the social media. Therefore, awareness has been raised, and also the same young people who yesteryears used to think that there was no problem are now suffering from it, being marginalized in schools, being taught in French rather than in English, and so on and so forth. So the people who thought were not didn't have the direct impact, are now feeling it, and they are rising up in arms against the other side of the government. The other reason is also that it has been a build-up. The consciousness, the political consciousness, from lone rangers like Albert Mukom, like Gorji Dinka, now to a group that came up in 1993, the Elad Musa and Nyangwe, and now it has come to what I call collective leadership. Some people say, there's no leader. What I see is that there's no front-line leader, but there is a collegial leadership that comes from behind, and that makes the struggle more consistent, more coherent, and more purposeful.
Now, you witnessed the situations in Bamenda, in Biya, and in other parts of the northwest and the southwest region. Your take on the response from the political elites of these two regions?
Now, let us say the political elites have become so emasculated that it's difficult for us to say they can have any response other than the response of either collusion or the response of silence. Now, it has been normal in the struggle of the Anglophone people that the Anglophones, elites, and by that I'm referring to political elites, have always sided with the people who appoint them. It is very rare to find someone who who gets out of the box to say things that are very independent. This is, of course, reflective of what even happened in our democratic political situation, where most of the leadership in Africa actually believes in what the people in the West say rather than in what they actually perceive. But let us put it to them. In private, some of these Anglophone political elites confess. In public, they find it very difficult to actually articulate. And in a struggle like this, we don't find it very necessary to make divisions against those who say things in private and those who say things in public. Sometimes one has to put oneself in their situation to be able to understand where they are coming from, and be able to also appreciate the fact that even though they are in the background, they are also able to even leak information as modes into the struggle. So far at that level, that's fine. But what I say to Anglophone political elites generally is that if you cannot join us, do not be against us, especially publicly. You must have the courtesy to first of all understand and acknowledge the fact that there is a problem. By not addressing that problem, you yourself might be a problem. But by at least acknowledging it and doing nothing about it, we can understand where you are coming from and also take you for who you are. So I think that Anglophone political elites, by and large, have not been able to be supportive to the struggle, but quite often, like I said, one can understand where they are coming from. And for that main reason, for me who is a moderate, for me who is a dove rather than a hawk, I can always forgive them.
Now, a lot of tendencies, we have those who want outright separation, we have those who want two-state separation, others who really want to remain in the union, but with preferential or better treatment for the Anglophones. What's your position?
My strong position is a federal position, and the federal position is that of a two-state under which there will be autonomous provinces. I have always made reference to the All Anglophone Conference draft federal constitution, which we prepared in 1993, especially led by Elad Munzo and Nyangwe. Unfortunately, the population has not taken enough time to read through that constitution. because that constitution is able to bring together those who are 10 state federated and those who are 2 state federated. Of course, those who are unitarists, they don't come in. And why do I find the AAC draft constitution very relevant today? It is relevant because it takes cognizance of our historical trajectory. Where did West Cameroon and East Cameroon come from? They came into a union.
The reason why I want me to listen for all these things, not because I want me to hear all that blah, 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 not because it go somewhere. These things, they point to a specific trend, which I tell you now phase 2 of the offer this, where la Republic du Cameroon, it used, that's why they did now give them the platform for them to try for sensitize the people, all right, for safe Cameroon, so that they create this room for these people them on the ground for be able now for start for talk about these things the way it be banned and it be impossible for them for talk. The only reason phase 1 don't fail, now they're going for phase 2. The pressure really plenty for la Republic du Cameroon. Biya no fit bear the pressure anymore. So now they introduce now the second factor where they call and say the reconciliatory factor. Now the reconciliatory factor this where they try for push am for make sure say all this one now for say make a credible negotiation it not take place between the Ambazonian people and la Republic du Cameroon. That's why they define now for this reconciliatory factor. Now the reconciliatory factor this way on the year. Now in this, they don't start for introduce them. They go push them inside their parliament so that now it go become that something where their parliament now it go take them. Talk say because of this. Just like they not be really acknowledged and accept Ambazonians as citizens of Cameroon until last year. Now they want to go debate the matter for their parliament and take and choke them inside their parliament so that they go come on now for saying that their parliament it don't ratify things they don't discuss the matter for 5 years. They don't avoid for talk about this matter for their parliament. Now because of you who you watch. Now because of the ghost town, the colonial school boycott, now because of the armed resistance, now because of the internationalization, now because of targeted diplomacy, now because of the mounting international pressure where they did for poor Biya neck, but all this one, now because Ambazonia don't defeat la Republic du Cameroon. Poor Biya don't blink. When you see the staff will make reconciliatory offer, the staff will make concessions. Cameroon don't blink. Cameroon don't lose the war. That's why now they make na concessions. Oh, maybe make we offer this one. Oh, maybe make we offer this one. Biya, they for Switzerland. It meet up with the partners them. For them for see, waiting now they go accept them, where they go carry and go for table. Waiting that the first Biya for agree and for them for carry and go for table. Now the reason that we Biya they for Switzerland. For find a deal where it go be good enough where if you take them now say okay, make we go for table because you don't lose the war. You know if you win them and the more time we give you, the more they become more stronger. So it better say you go for that negotiation table now where things will never really be too bad for your military. Because every single month, the forces, the Ambazonian forces them across the 13 states, they get stronger and stronger and bolder and bolder and more brave. They get more materials. So that's why Biya don't go France. Now for go find with the partners them for come to a consensus, come to an agreement for the kind deal way the fit talks okay now the packages way then they be willing for push them through the process for the international stage while they do the domestic measures. Now I think this will make all our people them when I start for keep them for one ahead a lot of moving parts the day for all these things them things that they move too fast and if we not keep up with the education them most people they know if we catch up. I will talk to me, I take the time, I can give now these updates of the updates. Now they update them this. They make concessions on the ground and now they define a package where it could be suitable enough for make a credible negotiation where meet the 4 conditions where the leader of Ambazonia War of Independence through the Governing Council of Ambazonia. They don't lay them out to the international community. We go meet those conditions. And once those conditions they be met, the Ambazonian people, they go for table. Biya by himself, he no go just come also, he go for table. That's why he don't come for Switzerland, for come meet up the multinational partners them. They would get backdoor meetings and for come up with a package where they think say Biya will take them now, he go for table, or the multinational partners, they go take them now, they talk, okay, we'll be ready, and the things and this. And then, so in the coming months or in the coming weeks, we're going to see a lot of movement for the international diplomacy. Movement will be things that they move very fast. Waiting Ambazonia, they need for know all these things, na sign. Say the Ambazonian people, they don't defeat La République du Cameroon. The state of Cameroon, they don't want to make it collapse. Cameroon don't run out of money. What strategy for bleed the country economically? It don't bankrupt Cameroon. They don't feel survive anymore financially. So that's why they speed up the process for create a deal where it could be acceptable through a negotiative process. Make all we begin to understand, say, that the work of our defense forces now they create this mounting international pressure. Now they defeat we were soldiers, they battle La République du Cameroon and knock them out. Now they mount all this international pressure. Now they work this for this generation. We do not agree for anything, for accept anything will be less than what the people they aspire for. Now they courage this way a people they need them for liberate themselves from tyranny, from occupation, and from exploitation. From colonial slavery. Now the mindset this. And once we get this mindset, we must stand very strong for these tempting times. We must stand very strong for what our people that they demand for what people are people that they rise up for what people are people that they fight for. As we don't already talk on, the colonial elites, they not go decide for the Ambazonian people then. The colonial elites, they not go speak for the Ambazonian people then. Cameroon Parliament, it not get the legitimacy for debate or for prescribed anything where it concern the future of Ambazonia. Cameroon Parliament by itself, it not get the legitimacy, it not get the authority for decide, carry out a discussion for impose among the Ambazonian people then. 1961 no go repeat itself. Fumba no go repeat itself. Cameroon fi go get any discussion where they want get them inside Cameroon Parliament. That one a Cameroon discussion. It no go affect Ambazonians. Not only the Ambazonian people get the final say about what it be good for Ambazonia. Not be not the Americans or the United Nations. Not be not the European Union or France. Not be not the Germans or the African Union. At the end of the day, now the Ambazonian people go decide which be good for them. And they already make that decision. The decision be clear on the ground, and the decision be clear for all the pronouncements. We were people them, they don't express them. The decision be very clear. Ambazonia, they rise up for actual unconditional freedom and independence. Ambazonia, they rise up for acts for total self-determination. Now, what you are people that they ask for that. Anything short of that, it be null and it be void. So if you go make any deal with the one time, if you go get any talk with the one time, until they come back to the Ambazonian leadership, until they come back to the Ambazonian people then, the discussion. But we bring all this one and for our people then for understand the stakes. And this is why it be very important for all we for intensify the ground actions. This is why it be very important. Say when this movement they don't go on. At the time this way, not at the time this for we for slow down. At the time for we for speed up the actions on the ground. Now the time for we for provide the forces with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of bullets for apply heat on the ground. The more heat we put them on the ground, the more heat we put them on the ground across the 13 states, the more they will realize and say the only option for save Cameroon now for impose sanction on Paul Biya and force the Cameroon military for exit Ambazonia. Now I work that. Secondly, as they don't start to talk about this next phase of negotiation, now the time then this for we for increase the fire on the ground. Because how the ground day and the kind forces who put them on the ground, now I go determine what leverage on any negotiating table. Now I go determine what leverage. Now the message this. Make you arm the ground. Make you contribute. Put more thousands of seeds of bullets on the ground. Make you help the stabilization forces. Make you increase them. Like the big brother will give $50,000 to the governing council for the stabilization forces. By the way, one of our policy advisor talks say the next time we call money for dollars, make we also call them for CFA, for the colonial currency. So $50,000, that it means that 25 million. All right. So one Ambazonia don't give 25 million. One person it donate 25 million to the AGOFC for the purpose for the ADF fighters. So at the end of this month, for the last Saturday for July, I think on July 31st, if I don't be mistaken, we'll go get another big fundraising for increase what we do for ground. As talk that they move on, at the time then this way all Ambazonia they need for be excited. You don't defeat La République du Cameroon. It be known internationally. Add fire on the ground, forgive our people them, the leverage where they need them, and forgive the leaders them, the leverage we need them, and our international experts for negotiation, the leverage where they need them for deliver what the Ambazonia people don't rise for ask for. So now the clarity, this is what I just talk say, make it take some time. I can't give you this clarity for understand say a lot of moving parts the day. Make una begin to pay attention for the dialogue for down there. When they see now say they don't start for become very soft for the way that they talk. They need to call Ambazonia them. They need to call them say secessionist anymore. Now that they call them a separatist. So a lot of things that they change. When I pay attention for these things, above all, now when I victory this victory now when I own, this pressure now when I own, all these things they don't be successful and we don't lead such a good liberation. Now because of ground zero. And because of the fighters, and because of our mami them, and because of our people them for diaspora, the internationalization, what social media activists them, even though sometimes it be like saying a fight, but it don't be a very good communication tool who don't use them for mobilize our people them. I want to thank all the people that don't make these things possible. I want to thank the donors. I want to thank the generous families them. When at the end they really help we make or keep this pressure on the ground through the forces. But above all, we need to give thanks to General Efang. We need to give thanks to Lieutenant General Popo for the leadership where they don't show up for down there. And for the kind of incredible brave men and women where they don't build them. The strong forces where they don't build them for whole ground fine. Because if we not be get that big core, if we not be get the ADF as the core force, all the other small things them not for take we very far. But with the getting that core force and with all the other block by block forces them across the territory, for all the other generals them, all the other commanders them, on a cafe day up. Now a collective effort as the leader the talk tell we. Every soldier in action, no matter place where they from Ambazonia, now I don't add up for bring this victory. Now I don't add up for bring we up to speed and give this generation the pride with the whole world the respect we. Even Biya don't bow to the Ambazonian people them. Cameroon B, the bow. Cameroon Army, the bow. Cameroon Gendarme, the bow. Cameroon Police, they don't bow their head for the courage of this generation. Will be a very special and wonderful people them. All our soldiers them. Una place day. Una don't do something when no other generation don't ever do am. There is no group of people where they come up for these kind of circumstances and be able to create this kind of transformation within the space of 5 years. Na a miracle. So I thank una plenty. I thank una plenty. We don't come very far for a very short period of time. The work and the journey not over too long. Na a collective effort. The leader they continue for meet up with community leaders them, meet up with civil society leaders them, for make sure say all Ambazonians them, the benefit for the freedom for which he go come, the leader they meet with everybody. Whether people they don't know want me to talk for them. At the end of the day, every stakeholder he go participate for the final outcome for which the Ambazonia people them want them. When they don't finish, they go do what they call and say accountability for ground zero. Justice will take course. But for now, the leader responsibility as the leader for mold the Ambazonian people them under one voice and prepare the people them for under one negotiation for which the people they don't rise up for ask for. Now when I work this, now when I victory, the pride, not for una, the pride that the people them for ground zero and the small pride that the people them for diaspora. But now ground zero, it create this big victory for all we. Diaspora, a role now for provide leadership and for provide structure for so that if we do things and for the way it guarantee the people to get which they want them. All right. So I want time kuna plenty. May God bless all una. When I take this message, when I share them for everywhere, may other people that participate, the people that for ACN they will stream and for people that for ground zero. Now they update this of the update. I'll talk for una tomorrow. When I get a blessed night, when I stay fine, may God bless all man. As always, we love una. Good night.